real history, a garden of pure ideology, where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests, obeying contradictory thoughts. The creation of the gods is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people, with one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
It's time to think differently about basic skills. When I realized that this year's Basic Skills Summit conflicted with the 3CSN CAP conference this weekend, I was really bummed. I was looking forward to seeing everybody and sharing some of the ideas that I've discovered with my CAP experience. So I got a message on my office phone a few days ago from Tracy saying, "Hey Todd, why don't you just make a video?" And I thought, well, why not? You know, I'll take a shot at making a video, and so here I am, and that's what I'm doing. And specifically what I wanted to share with everybody is an activity that I did as an icebreaker. And these days, rather than starting the class with my syllabus and what they're going into going on and on about doing your homework and how much the exams count and how I weighted and doing all of that kind of nuts and bolts stuff. I like to start every class off with some kind of interactive type activity. Very first thing is to walk into the class and say, "Hey, I'm Todd and you're in elementary statistics, and we're going to do an activity." And I always carry a deck of cards with me now, and I use the cards to put my students into groups, and I wanted to have groups of 3 students, and so I arranged the cards so there would be 3 aces and 3 twos and 3 threes and so forth, and I figured out how many, I counted the students, figured out how many cards I needed, shuffled them up and dealt them out, and then I can say, "Hold up your aces." 3 people hold up an ace and they can make eye contact and know who's in their group, and then same thing with the twos and so forth. And so anyway, it's a really quick and easy way to get students randomized into groups. And so I did that, and I had the students get up and move around and get into their groups. And then I shared with them, I handed every group one of these slips of paper. And what it has, what the slip of paper has on it is a letter that was sent to an advice columnist on her relationship with her boyfriend. And basically, here's what it says. Here's the letter. It's titled Moby Dickhead, and it says, "In social situations, my boyfriend will often pretend to have read books I know he hasn't. He doesn't just fake it with some casual, 'Yeah, I read that.' He will try to say something deep and philosophical, but can end up not making much sense. He's too smart to need to do this. Is there something I can say to persuade him to stop? Embarrassed." So I asked my students to discuss among themselves, among their groups, what would your advice be to embarrassed? Can you come up with some kind of collective consensus on what you would tell this person? So I let them discuss that for 10 minutes or so, and then I tried something new, something that I hadn't tried before, which is this idea called speed dating. And I came across this idea at a CAP conference, and actually Myra Snell was demonstrating it for us. She actually had us do some speed dating in one of our CAP workshops. In any case, I divided the class into 2 groups. And faced them off face to face, and I told them you have 2 minutes to discuss ideas, to share ideas about advice to embarrassed. And then the signal is, I'll switch off the light, then you go to the next person, and I told them, take a step to your right. If both sides take a step to the right, then they're facing new people, and then the person on the end has to come around and match up with the other person, the other single person on the other end. So anyway, a little bit of logistics to work out, but it wasn't that hard, and students figured it out pretty fast. what really amazed me, and I've been doing group work for years. I'm a very big advocate and believer in cooperative learning, and in fact, I wrote about cooperative learning in my teaching philosophy when I applied for this teaching job at CR. And one of the things that I have learned is that it's really important when you're using cooperative learning type or group work that you invest time at the beginning of the semester in establishing good group dynamics and recognizing that we're social creatures, and being comfortable with each other is really important. And so icebreakers are I think really important for establishing good group dynamics. So anyway, in all the years that I've been doing cooperative learning type exercises, I have never had a class engage so enthusiastically in cooperative learning. And the speed dating, it was like throwing gasoline on a fire. I mean, my classroom just exploded with enthusiasm. I was just blown away. And actually, it's an 8:30 class, and it just far exceeded my expectations in how enthusiastically they were discussing this advice that they were going to give embarrassed. And I thought it was just an anomaly maybe in my morning class, but my afternoon class, same thing, same exact thing happened. So really built some enthusiasm. But in any case, so I did 3 rounds of speed dating, and then I asked the students to get back into their groups and to share these whatever new ideas they may have come across or received from the speed dating portion. And I also asked them to pick a representative from their group that would report their findings or report out on what their advice would be. And the advice from these reports was really amazing. Some groups were saying, "Oh, she's got to dump this guy. I mean, he's lying about not reading books, and that's minor, and who knows what he's lying about, and you can't be trusted. You can't trust this guy. Just dump him and move on." Other students were saying, you gotta set this guy up. You've got to figure out some way. Get your friends in on it, and make up some book and really embarrass him and try to coerce him into quitting the behavior. And so anyway, after all of the students' groups had reported back out, I handed out copies of Amy Alkin's advice, and she's the advice goddess, and she writes a column called The Advice Goddess. And so I had copies of this, and I handed it out to my students. So I want to just read a portion of this. So here's what the advice goddess, what her advice is. Obviously, if you're at the English department's afternoon tea and you don't know your Homer from your Homer Simpson, there's a problem. But the truth is, not every intelligent person is well read. People show their intelligence in how they solve problems life throws them. And actually, as psychologist Carol Dweck observes in Why Smart People Can Be So Stupid, the people most likely to squander the intelligence they have are those who measure their self-worth through their intellectual performance. Quote, caring so much about looking smart that they act dumb. Dweck finds in her research that this thinking comes out of a fixed mindset, the self-improvement stunting belief that intelligence and ability are set and not changeable, rather than what seems to be the case, that you can work to improve yourself. With the growth mindset, you're motivated to learn and grow, and failure is just a sign that you need to keep trying. For fixed mindset people, success is about proving they're already smart and talented, and the need to work to accomplish things is a sign of being dumb. Fixed mindsetters actually have a dislike for hard work, which Dweck says makes sense because if you think effort is for idiots, what else is there to do but avoid it? So there you have it from the Advice Goddess. I really believe that we cannot continue to just do the same things that we've been doing for our basic skills students. And that's why I chose the iconic Apple ad to start this video with. And some of you might recognize it. It's one of the most amazing advertisements I think ever created. And it was only aired once. It was aired during the Super Bowl in 1984 to release the Macintosh. And it only ever aired once for 1 minute during one of the Super Bowl ad spots. But I love the imagery in that video because, here you have the hero, a woman, and she's in color and everything else is monochrome. And, everybody in the audience is just, brainwashed? I don't know. Orwell. It's the Orwellian idea, So, and we got to break that paradigm, I think. We have to radically rethink how we approach basic skills, and I think that the first step is really to recognize this theory that Carol Dweck has about fixed versus growth mindset. And I think I had a fixed mindset, when I started out as a student, and I had it for a long time, and reading about Carol Dweck's research has really opened my eyes to the fact that, anyone can grow their intellect. I genuinely believe that. And I think what's important to recognize, though, is that our basic skills students may not realize this. Our basic skills students, many of them might have a fixed mindset. And if they really do see themselves as being dumb in math, say, then what is the motivation for them to work hard? What is the motivation for them to try? It doesn't really make sense. And so I think as we start to really try to improve success rates, revealing to our students that they can adopt a growth mindset, that they can grow their intellect is I think an important component of it. In any case, I really appreciate the opportunity to share these ideas with you, and I hope you enjoy the video. I definitely enjoyed making it, and I look forward to seeing you all when we get back from the CAP conference. So take care and have a nice weekend. Goodbye.